Warning. The following video contains some gruesome imagery. Because it's a horror film and Michael Caine gets his hand severed off. Although, I mean, it's a warning, a gruesome warning, but it looks daft, to be honest with you. Yeah, you'll see when we get to it. But also, there's a spot of lewd themes. Lewd themes! Only in a cubit, but yeah, just a spot. Aye up, Rayvers. This week's request is taking a look at a dose of 1980s horror cack starring Michael Caine in The Hand. Yes, we start with some picturesque scenery, and we see inside an artist's studio belonging to a cartoonist, Jonathan Lansdale, played by Michael Caine. And Lansdale is the creator of the successful Mandro cartoon strip. I mean, it's no Condor Man, is it? But, you know, probably alright. Now, despite the seemingly idyllic setting, all is not well in the world of Jonathan Lansdale. Although he doesn't seem to be aware of it. Basically, his wife ain't happy. She ain't happy. And it seems that she wants him to move to New York for the winter.
We've already talked about all of this. I've already been looking into schools for Lizzie and everything.
But it transpires that she don't want the whole family to go. She just wants to take her daughter and bugger off. Wants a bit of time away from her husband. And Lansdale, he ain't happy. He ain't happy one jot.
There is no way I'm going to let you traipse off to New York with Lizzie, leaving me here alone to pay the bills.
And whilst having this argument, he starts to distract her from her driving, and she tries a stupid overtaking manoeuvre. But the other vehicles are lacking awareness as well, and Lansdale, the silly bugger, sticks his hand out at window to try and wave down the car behind him, and he gets his hand severed off. Ooh, yeah. But I've got to say, I didn't really find the special effects too gruesome, because they reminded me of that Monty Python sketch. So yeah, it just looked a bit daft to me. Now, despite their best efforts, they're unable to find his severed hand. Yeah, we'll come back to that in a bit. Now we're out of hand and unable to draw his beloved cartoons, at least to the standard he'd like to be able to draw them. Lansdale's life begins to unravel. He starts hallucinating about everyday objects that become hands, which ain't hands. And he becomes increasingly stressed about his work prospects, what with not being able to draw his cartoon strip anymore. And he starts to reveal that he's a pretty unpleasant character, Lansdale. Don't have a lot of sympathy for him, seems pretty horrible.
Give him up, why should I?
Because you'll get a good income out of it, and we won't have to worry about Lizzie or the rent or what we're going to do after Christmas.
Hey!
He's not very nice to his wife. But in the same breath, his wife's a pain in the arse and all. It's all about how he's going to be able to make a living and support the family. She doesn't offer to go out to work now he's had his hand cut off.
What are we going to do for money?
Yeah, it's just a sponge. She's a right pain in the arse. On the road, Lansdale gets offered a new job, lecturing comics at college.
I've been offered a very good job in California.
But his wife won't go. She prefers to stay in New York at this wellness retreat so she can have it off with her yoga instructor. And as he starts to become more and more disillusioned with his lot, we start to see some images of his severed hand, alive, crawling about. And as an audience, we ain't sure what's going on. We ain't sure if this is real or if it's simply Lansdale's visions. Because I think Lansdale's what's known in the trade as an unreliable narrator. Because as the audience, we can't take his word for what's happening. We don't know whether the hand is a figment of his imagination, or whether when the hand starts attacking folk, whether it's actually Lansdale what's doing it, or if it is actually a severed hand going around attacking folk. I mean, that'd be bloody stupid, wouldn't it, if it were the last one? So it probably ain't that one. On the road, Lansdale buggers off to California, sans wife and kid, to teach comics at this college to a bunch of unenthusiastic numpties.
Huh? Do you have a favourite comic strip?
No.
Although one of them takes a bit of a shine to him. And watching it nowadays, you're thinking, God, this is out of order, this. Because the young lady turns up at his house, and he just invites her in and gives her a beer. And she promptly gets her kit off and has it off with him. I mean, was that allowed in the 80s? That commonplace, wasn't it? Lecturers having it off with the students? Doesn't seem right to me, that. I'm sure you'd get sacked for that these days. But as his wife and daughter turn up at his log cabin for Christmas, Lansdale's world deteriorates into a bloody nightmare, as his negative emotions seem to be interlinked with the carnage caused by the hand. Now, what seems to be the situation is that Lansdale is having some sort of mental breakdown, where he has these visions of the hand doing horrible things. But then he has these blackouts when these horrible, gruesome murders are happening. So obviously we're led to believe that Lansdale is conducting these gruesome antics he said, and he's just blaming it on the hand. So what sprung to mind when I was watching this were Ruttle and Emu. Now, I don't know if you young'uns will remember Ruttle and Emu, but he was the bane of celebrities' lives in the 70s, wasn't he? You might have seen him assaulting Parker, or sexually assaulting Larry Grayson on Sunday night at Palladium. And Ruttle would always try and maintain his innocence and say, oh, it ain't me, it's Emu. But it weren't Emu, it were him. Just like Jonathan Lansdale and his hand. He said, oh, it ain't me, it's the hand. No, it's you psychotic mentalist. Now, there's an extended sequence where the hand attacks Lansdale, and you see him getting smashed up around this garage by the hand. So you're then thinking, oh, maybe it's not him after all. But then when we see it in flashback, it's obvious that he was just assaulting his son. And again, you see that with Ruttle and Emu and all. He'd frequently attack his son. That is good though, isn't it? That's very good, that. How does he do that? Let's watch that again. That is superb physical comedy, that. How does he do that? That sort of self-abuse is the sort of thing Jackie Chan would do in his stunts, isn't it? They're glutton for punishment, Jackie Chan. But that said, never seen Jackie Chan do something like that. Very good. I could watch that for days. Now, the other week, I spoke at length about the important role that Roger Moore's eyebrows played in The Man Who Haunted His Son. Well, today, I want to spend a bit of time talking about Michael Caine's hair. Because he starts off the film with his hair in pretty good nick. You know, it's well kept, he's combed it. But as his life falls apart and he starts to descend into madness, his barnet becomes a reflection of that. His hair starts to get crazier and crazier the more the film goes on. And by the end of it, after he's been charged with murder and locked up in an insane asylum, he looks like an absolute nutcase. He looks like Father Jack. Fake! Now, the ending for me were utterly ludicrous. I mean, he's getting interviewed by this psychiatrist who's talking to him about his hand.
No, John, you hate me. You. It's your hate, it's your will. Take responsibility for it. There is no hand.
But as she's talking to him about this, she then gets attacked by his blooming hand. But throughout all this, he's strapped down on that chair. So it can't be a symbolic representation of his psychotic episodes. It's literally a severed hand going around killing people. I mean, this is absolutely bloody stupid. But also, what sort of mental hospital is he in? Where's the security? There's nobody watching him through a two-way mirror or something. Why didn't they stop him? I mean, absolutely bloody ludicrous. Stupid. Okeydoo, on to Ray's ratings. Well, this film were one that it was slap banging in the middle of Michael Caine's crappy phase. He did a lot of shite in the 80s. So I was thinking 2-star film at best, this. But I'm afraid to say, absolute cobblers. Bloody awful. It was bad enough when you thought that the hand were a hallucinogenic manifestation of his psychosis. But to then find out that it were actually a severed hand going around murdering folk, I mean, just utterly stupid. So I'm rating the hand a 1-star, 2-star film. Now, according to Wikipedia, it said that after the success of his previous film, Dressed to Kill, Michael Caine were interested in making another horror film to earn enough money to put a down payment on a new garage he was having built. Bloody hell. Oh, hey up, mate. What did you think of The Hand? How many stars would you give it? Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. Great hands think alike. You've obviously got your finger on pulse. Totally far-fetched, wasn't it? Stupid. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review of The Hand. And if you did, poke the like button. You might not need to poke it. You might be able to get a severed hand to poke the like button for you. But just ensure it's been poked for me. That'll be great. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you ain't already a subscriber. And share rave reviews with your mates. Very much appreciated. And thanks again for watching. And as usual, I love reading all your comments. Apologies if I don't get a chance to reply to them all. But I really do appreciate them. So thanks for that. Keep them coming. And copyright box permitting, I will be back with another review very soon. So I will see you next time. Okeydoo!